What's up guys, Chris Barr of First Productions here, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we are doing the year of review for 2023. 2023 has been a great year for trains, especially for the rare stuff. So, we got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to show you guys. So, my suggestion is, sit back, relax, go grab a coffee, go grab your popcorn, or go do whatever you frickin' do. And, again, my suggestion is you just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's get right on into it. Our first train of 2023 has CSX 911, aka the Spirit of our First Responders, aka the Honoring Our First Responders unit. And this happened right after New Year's Day, which was awesome. Really cool way to start off 2023, and I completely lost my mind when I saw this thing for the first time. So yeah, really cool train. One night I'm down at St. Desmark Station during a school night because I have word of 1776 leading I-137. And while I was waiting for I-137, this decided to show up. M409 with some kind of CSX switcher. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, I can't argue with that. But still, that was still a pretty cool catch. Not long after that, CSX 1776 shows up with I-137 in tow. It was also the first time I ever heard a Leslie RS or a Leslie S5T air horn. And as you can see, this shot looks absolutely horrible because I forgot to pan the locomotive. So this was kind of a fail capture. But luck didn't seem to leave my side just yet because my buddy texted me that two leaser locomotives was on CSX M421, that being a Precision Leasing GP50C and a Precision Leasing GP40-2 LW, which is really cool, and you'll see why that LW or the GP40-2 LW is pretty cool. I mean, look at that Canadian cab right there. Oh my god, that is so cool looking. What an awesome train that is right there. Really cool. The next day, closer to the evening time, CSX M331 rolls through St. Desmark Station with CSX 454 leading. That is the Spirit of Magnolia, with a GE C40-8W trailing. This was a pretty cool catch, and I'm not too sure how much longer the Spirit of Magnolia is going to be in service for, as all the AC 4400 CWs are getting rebuilt into these new CM44 ACs and AHs. So if you hear it on a train, I would highly suggest you get it. A week later, on a Saturday, in pretty cold conditions, I catch my first CSX ethanol train. But what adds to this is that this train has trailing a Kansas City Southern, or KCS, SD78, and a BNSF SD78. This was really cool to see. I've been wanting to get myself a hold of Kansas City Southern for a good long time, and that day was the day to get it. It was my first BNSF engine I've ever seen go through St. Dennis. So this was a really good win-win for the day. Another week later, we have CSX 911, aka Spirit of our First Responders, come through St. Dennis again, this time trailing. It's still pretty cool to see. Here's a slow-mo shot of it. CSX Pride and Service. Pretty cool stuff. That is a really nice looking engine. Pretty cool locomotive. Right there, I must say. On a cold Sunday evening, CSX 1776 comes through St. Denis Mark Station on CSX M422, this time leading. And this shot looks so much better than the first time I got it leading. I mean, you can actually see it so much better there.
1776!
There's train Zilla in the background. Awesome train right there. Awesome locomotive, it looks really good. That is a really good train right there. A week later, on a lovely Friday afternoon, CSX M422 shows us more love and more love again. As he has trailing, wait for it, an LTEX GP15-1. This thing was really cool to see. That is an awesome LTEX locomotive right there. That's awesome. On a Saturday morning, we see CSX L122 shoving back with a caboose. I've been wanting to see myself catching a caboose for a long time, and here's a video where I have. This little caboose was really cool, and it's a part of CSX. It's a part of the CSX system. It's really cool. So yeah, that was pretty cool right there. Okay, this is kind of a big one. In this clip, this is the first time I've ever seen Engineer John Stone, aka the Happy Engineer.
What up, Stone?
He has been retired for a few months now as the recording of this video. What an awesome dude. Listen to my excitement there. Holy man. That is awesome right there. Happy retirement once again, Engineer Stone. Serve CSX well.
CSX.
Hey folks, did you know you can film trains from school? Well, apparently you can if you've got railroad tracks right outside your school in a window from a classroom facing right directly at the railroad track.
CSX Auto Rack.
I mean, why the heck not, right?
Looks like M217.
I mean, it's a great use of time. And if you don't have schoolwork to do, why not rail fan in your school, right?
M216, actually.
That's awesome. That's insane what you think about it. It's awesome. I mean, if you got railroad tracks right outside your school, you got a window facing towards it, you can actually rail fan and film trains from your school, which is awesome. No rail fan can deny this is awesome. No rail fan can deny this. I'm telling you right now, no rail fan can deny that this is cool. I mean, come on, this is insane. I mean, you're filming trains from a classroom inside your school. That's awesome. No rail fan can deny this. I'm telling you right now. I guarantee you that. Another day after school, I'm filming CSX M409 with the Happy Engineer, aka Engineer Stone, driving his train, that being M409, down the CSX Baltimore Terminal Subdivision. This was pretty cool. Again, this is from my school, so I didn't include it. I know it's a little shaky, but come on, this is awesome. I mean, this is cool. I'm sorry, this is cool. The next day in Harper's Ferry, a very windy day in Harper's Ferry, I see my very first CN locomotives on CSX ethanol train, that being CSX B773. This was really cool train to see. Leading the train was a CN SC70M-2, and trailing was a CN ES44AC. Pretty cool train right there. very, very happy to see my very first batch of CN engines. The next day after that, we see the same CN Power that I saw in Harper's Ferry come through St. Denis Mark Station, this time with the GE trailing long hood forward and the CN SD70M-2 pushing back on the ES44AC.
This is the same train I caught yesterday.
This was a really cool, kind of cool catch. I mean, I've already saw it, but it was pretty cool to see it roll through St. Denis Mark Station. That was pretty neat. Pretty neat indeed. A couple weeks later, I find myself in Shenandoah Junction, West Virginia. Here we have Norfolk Southern M4Z coming out of the siding at Shenandoah Junction with UP trailing. Now, this is my first UP engine I've ever seen, which this is pretty cool. I mean, it's really cool. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool little catch, and you know, it's definitely worth putting in. It's pretty cool. Here comes the UP engine with that great big American flag. That's a pretty awesome little train right there. A couple weeks later, I find myself at St. Denis Mark Station, and we see this empty coal train going up the old mainline subdivision at St. Denis Mark Station. And there's something pretty cool on this train. An ST70AH, which was pretty cool to see. I know the lighting's not that good, but it's still pretty cool to see. I am very happy I got this engine when I did, because now they're no longer on CSX. They went back to Progress Rail, and God knows where they are now. I think they're somewhere in Mexico. But again, I'm very happy when I saw that. And I saw it when I did. A few days later, we see a pretty special pair of KCS Power coming through St. Denis Mark Station on CSX M331. This was pretty cool to see, as I wanted to get KCS as much as I could because they were going to be merged with CP pretty soon. Leading was a Kansas City Southern SD70 Ace, and trailing was a Kansas City AC44 CW. That was pretty cool to see. I was very happy to see that when I did. I rushed very fast to get down there. I didn't even change out of my school uniform. I'm still in it, you just don't know it. And yeah, so that was that. Pretty cool train right there. Not long after that, we see a pair of CNGVOs come through St. Denis Mark Station. Leading the train is an ES44AC, and trailing is an ET44AC. Pretty cool pair of CN Power right here. That is really cool right there to see. Okay, this next catch was kind of a unexpected catch. I was not expecting this to come through St. Denis at all that day. Leading this train is a ex-Conrail GP40-2. This was the FRA inspection train. This was pretty cool. I really lost my mind when I saw this. I really did not know what to think of it. But this was a really, really cool train.
You are kidding me, are you?
No, I'm not, Chris. I'm not kidding you at all. You're seeing it right in front of you. Okay, this next catch is an oldie, but a goodie. 2 OCS executive in Baltimore and Ohio themed paint to CSX F40PHs. This was cool to see. Again, 2 F40PHs in Baltimore and Ohio themed paint. Yeah, that was really, really cool to see. And, yeah, yeah. I haven't seen these since. This was trailing on M409. So yeah, that was pretty cool right there. Oh yeah, to add on to the goodness of this train, how about a passenger car on the end of this train? How about that? Yeah, that just adds to the goodness, right? Absolutely. A few weeks later, I find myself up in Hershey, Pennsylvania, rail fanning. Our first train up there is a Norfolk Southern train, a manifest train with BNSF leading, and UP trailing. That was really cool to see. And it had to be a SD70 Ace too. That was cool. Oh my god, does that sound good or what? That's music to my ears. That's what I call music right there. Yeah, that's awesome right there. My first Nathan K5 LLA air horn I have ever heard in my life. Big milestone right there. I know it's not that special, but it's special to me. Oh, this one's a good one. This next one is a good one. The last GE C40-8W, that being an ex-Conrail / ex-LMS C40-8W remaining on CSX's roster. This thing is extremely rare. Extremely rare. I don't even know if I'll ever see this engine again. I mean, it's got the marker lights and everything on there. It's got the cab-mounted headlight. I mean, this was a cool catch. A very cool catch. I mean, that was awesome to see. Hey Chris, I don't think blowing an air horn at a train is gonna make them blow their horns even more than what you think they're gonna blow the horn. I mean, maybe it might work for some engineers, but it don't work for all engineers, alright? I would not do that. A few weeks later, I found myself at BWI Amtrak station to film some of these new Harry Potter wrapped Amtrak locomotives. Now, this was pretty cool. It's something casual. Nothing really else special there. A week later, on a Sunday afternoon, I found myself at St. Denis Park Station filming my first ballast train in a good long time. This is a Herzog ballast train, and this was pretty cool to see. I mean, these are pretty rare on the Baltimore Terminal subdivision, so it was pretty nice to get a hold of one while I could. And, yeah, that was a pretty cool looking train right there. And, yeah, there it is, Herzog. Pretty cool train right there. Another week later, I find myself at St. Denis Mark Station. I went to St. Denis Mark Station to hopefully get CSX 911 on M410 with a pretty unique consist, but that never happened because they took the power off, or they took CSX 911 off M410 at Lansdowne. It was pretty cool to see this because there was a pretty unique consist nonetheless. We see a C40-8W getting shoved back by a Gevo, and in a minute you'll see what makes this even more unique than just the GE-8. As the GE-8 gets shoved back, you will see in just a moment what makes this a lot more special. And no, it's not the number boards, but it's what you see way down there connected up to those cars. That is what's unique. That is an old CSX switcher. It's pretty cool to see, and they're pretty rare to see on trains. I mean, look how cool that is. That's an old CSX switcher. You don't see them a lot on these freight trains. So, yeah, that was pretty cool to see right there. That is a really unique consist right there. Later on that day, I decided to go down to Lansdowne to see if I could spot CSX 911. And to my surprise, he got put on a CSX local, and there she is, in that beautiful bright red paint. She looks like she kind of got repainted a little bit, but it could have been the sun. Nonetheless, this was pretty cool to see, and I was actually happy that I got to see 911 after all. A few days later, on a wet, rainy Saturday afternoon, we see a pretty cool consist come through St. Denis Mark Station. A brand new, or relatively new, CSX SD70AC and a CN ET44 AC. At first, I thought the CN was CSX 911 coming back from the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum, but it was a CN locomotive, which was pretty cool, which made it a pretty cool consist. The next day, I found myself at St. Denis Mark Station to capture a CP GE locomotive, this being my first batch of CP I've ever seen in my life, which was really cool. Behind that, a GP38-2. That was really cool. Just out and about, rail fanning with my two newest rail fanning buddies. And that was a really cool train. That was awesome to see. But wait, there's more! Of course there's always more with rail fanning, right? Right? Yeah, there's always more with rail fanning. Trailing on an X216, we have an ST70AH, and here's a better view of one. Way better than the first one I've ever seen. So, that was really cool to see. Especially after seeing some CP, right? Yeah, of course, it's really nice to see after seeing CP. That was a really cool train as well. On a lovely,
oh my god,
spring, close to summer afternoon, we find ourselves at St. Denis Mark Station, and look what comes through St. Denis Mark Station. A GP40 WH-2 locomotive, the last one on mark.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty cool to see. I'm not even gonna lie there. That was very late that night. I find myself and a couple of rail fan buddies at St. Denis Mark Station for something very, very special. Reporting mark CFAQ SD70 M-2s. At first, I thought that these would be the rarest things I would see that year, but I was so wrong, and you'll see why very soon. This was so cool to see, and we will never see those locomotives again, as they are going to Quebec, Canada. That was awesome to see. For my 700 subscriber special, I find myself at the Shepherdstown Bridge. Very scenic rail fan location. I liked it very much. Sorry for the shaky footage. But this was really cool to see. A Norfolk Southern train. This was Norfolk Southern 13R. It was pretty cool to see this go over the bridge. Definitely something unique that I've never done before. But it was definitely pretty cool to do. And I don't regret my decision at all. Very scenic and very beautiful. Okay, I'm not proud of this shot at all, and I'm not proud of this at all. This is a failed attempt at getting some CN locomotives coming in to Curtis Bay Yard, and we're going towards that direction on CSX B773 or B773. I am not proud of this at all, and this kind of makes me a little bit disappointed. This was a failed attempt, like I said, but I still got it nonetheless. But it was still a failed attempt. One spring evening, I find myself at St. Desmar Station, and we capture all this LRAM maintenance equipment. This was cool to see, and I've never seen anything like this on the railroad before. This was pretty cool to see, and definitely really awesome to see and try to figure out how it works while the train was going by. It was pretty cool to see, nonetheless. One gorgeous, beautiful spring day, we find ourselves on the Strasburg Railroad, right behind Norfolk and Western J-Class number 611. What an honor it was to be filming and riding behind this gorgeous streamlined machine. It was super cool, and I would love to do it again. After riding behind NNW 611, we decided to film NNW 611. Listen to that one. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful streamlined engine. Fortunately, she won't run at Strasburg for a while, or maybe never. But I'm glad I got to see her there when I did. It was really cool. You'll see NNW 611 again later on in this video. A few days later, after filming NNW 611, we had reports of a CN-9 coming in on CSX B773. A CN C44-9W. This was pretty cool to see. And a Nathan K3LA air horn. That was pretty cool to hear. Yes, it was. What's up, Andrew? How are you guys? How are you doing in this video? You look like you're really enjoying yourself filming the train there, because it looks like you are enjoying filming the train there. Pretty cool train overall. It's really nice to see some old CN power. On another warm spring evening, we capture CSX M410 with CP coming back onto the Baltimore Terminal Subdivision. This was pretty cool, although the unit was not as clean as the last one, but it's still pretty cool to see. Pretty cool train right there. Yes, indeed. A few days later, we see Engineer Stone having fun with the air horn for the rail fans. Being in his friendly mood as he always is, the happy engineer returns through St. Desmar Station, and we are all happy about it.
It's the happy engineer again!
Yes, Chris, it is the happy engineer. Pretty cool, though, nonetheless. One close to summer evening, I decide to film CSX I-137 from the St. Denis Bridge. It was a pretty neat little shot, and it was kind of cool looking. I haven't done it since, but I might do it in the near future. But still, nonetheless, pretty cool experimental shot. It's the beginning of summer and school is out. The first thing I did was hit the world famous Horseshoe Curve in Altoona, Pennsylvania, because what summer trip of rail fanning doesn't involve Horseshoe Curve? I love Horseshoe Curve. It's one of my favorite places to go. Rail fan and film trains. It's awesome, and we have ourselves a little Norfolk Southern intermodal train coming through. And with this new camera, panning at a Horseshoe Curve is a breeze. Like, it looks so much better But yeah, it looks good with the panning with the new camcorder. Is great in this video. It looks good in this video and stuff like that. It looks awesome. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome thing. The day after visiting Horseshoe Curve, I found myself at Point of Rocks to film something pretty special. My first Heritage unit ever. That being Amtrak 164, the Phase 4 Heritage unit. That was really, really cool to see. Even though a pretty short train, still really cool train, pretty cool locomotive to film. Nothing else I can say there. Later, we head over to NS in the Shenandoah Junction area to film some trains. First train was NS 27A, having BNSF C44-9 or some kind of -9. I don't remember model number or model name, but still pretty cool. Oh boy. Oh boy. Folks, I think this might be the best catch of 2023 right here that's coming up. This right here might be the best catch of 2023. Just wait for it. Just wait for it. Oh my god, she's a beaut! That is a beaut right there! UP 1988, the Katy engine, or the Missouri, Texas, or not the Missouri, Texas, the Missouri, Kansas, and Texas Heritage unit. What an amazing catch that was. That was my first freight railroad Heritage unit. That being the Katy engine / the Missouri, Kansas, and Texas Railroad Heritage unit. That might be the best catch of 2023. But there's also another one that might be a tie with it. Or close to a tie with it. I forgot to mention the symbol on this train. The symbol that the Katy engine was on was Norfolk Southern 25A. What an amazing catch this was. Oh man, I almost shed a tear with this. I almost did. And I was really struggling not shedding a tear on this one. Okay, here's kind of another failed attempt at getting a CN pair of locomotives on B773 again. My camera kept dying, and I had my iPhone, and the quality just doesn't look good in this video. So this is just another failed attempt. We can get this out of here. Oh my god, I remember that so well. Here we have a clip of Engineer Stone playing Jingle Bells with the horn. That was awesome. I remember that day so well. Here we have CSX 500, the Spirit of Grafton, backing up to the locomotive that Engineer Stone's driving. And later on, you're going to see one of CSX's new heritage units, as being the B&O. That's the whole reason why I came down to St. Denis that day, was to see that. But I was not expecting any of this going on. This was pretty cool to come across. And that's a good coupling right there. The new Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Heritage Unit. aka CSX's first heritage unit. Well, it's not so new now, but it's still pretty new, I guess. Still pretty nice to see. The next day, later that night, I'm at St. Denis Mark Station for a pretty special train. That being a military train with Kansas City Southern, and Union Pacific Power. This is my first military train I have ever seen. I had to film it on my iPhone because it would be a little bit too dark for my other camera. But still cool, nonetheless. Okay. Now this is the train that actually has a very good chance of taking the place of the best train of 2023. Right now, it's the Katy engine, or UP 1988, but this is a close one. This is very close to taking that place. Right now, I mean, this is an easy second, but this train is so, it's like inches away from taking that place of that Katy engine. That's how much I really enjoyed doing this chase. I love chasing this engine. I love chasing and pacing this engine. I love hearing that chugga 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 sound. This is Reading and Northern 2102, or Reading and Northern T1 2102. One of the only remaining T1s that's actually operational. She was purchased by the man of Annie Moore Jr. and she's owned by the Reading Northern, and she runs fantastically. I cannot say that I've seen anything like this in my life, because I haven't until I got done chasing this thing. I mean, listen to that whistle. That sounds awesome. That sounds real good. I mean, people say, oh, you know what, I'm a big 6'11" guy. Hey bud, how about you chase 2102? How about you try to see 2102? And then tell me what your favorite steam locomotive is. Because I guarantee you, you're probably going to change your mind for it to be 2102 to be your favorite steam locomotive. Because you're going to probably want 2102 after you get done pacing it or chasing it. I'm pretty sure you want 2102 to be your favorite steam locomotive. But man, I'm telling you, this is not like a chase. This is a memory right here. That's exactly what this is. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my life until that day. Really awesome train. A gorgeous, beautiful steam locomotive and a beautiful steam train. A few weeks later, we head to the Coalbrookdale Railroad to chase an ex-Norfolk Southern High Hood GP 38-2. One of my favorite diesel locomotive types of all time. I love Norfolk Southern High Hood GP 38-2s. I am a sucker for them. I mean, they are so cool. They are really cool. I mean, just look at this engine. Look how unique that looks. I mean, that's really unique. I really like that. And that's really a really cool engine. Oh, and also, you gotta love this Leslie R3L. Oh, and a little attempt at Jingle Bells, too. That would have been awesome if you fully did that. That was super cool right there, though. After visiting the Coalbrookdale Railroad that evening, I find myself at the Rockville Bridge in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, with some BNSF power. An ES-44 AC. BNSF ES-44 AC. Pretty cool right there. One summer morning, I found myself at St. Dennis-Mark Station filming CSX's third Heritage Unit, the Seaboard System Heritage Unit, aka my favorite CSX Heritage Unit of them all so far. I really like the Seaboard System Heritage Unit. I really like the air horn that it has. But still, that was a really cool catch. This was filmed on IO-31. That was the symbol that Heritage Unit was on that day. It's IO31.
Ooh, Dash 9!
A couple days later, I find myself at St. Asmar Station filming a pair of C40-9Ws on CSX M216. Pretty old units. They're very rare, or pretty rare. Rarer than Dash 8s on CSX. So, I figured they were worth a mention. A couple days later, after that, well, a couple of my buddies and I decided to head down to St. Asmar Station to film the Conrail Heritage Unit as mid-DPU on CSX M410.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty nice looking Heritage Unit, I would say. It's definitely one of my favorites as well. I like the Conrail Heritage Unit. That was a pretty cool little unit to get on that train that day. So pretty cool locomotive there. A couple weeks later after that, I head down to St. Asmar Station and catch a very unexpected, very special train. This CSX geometry train with Southern Pacific boxcar and really special CSX cars. This was really cool. Symbol on this train was CSX W008. Pretty cool. Pretty cool train right there. Definitely very cool train. No, I was wrong. Symbol on this train was CSX W
That was a CSX
001. That's what it is. CSX 001 was the symbol. That was really cool.
That was cool.
A few more weeks after that, we have this set of Union Pacific Power coming through St. Asmar Station as light power. This was a pretty cool catch to get, as this came in on CSX M214, I think it was. But nonetheless, still pretty cool to get. And there's another one of those ST70 AHs. Now the ones on Union Pacific are still active. It's only the ones on CSX that are no longer with us. A few weeks later, we have a problem with CSX M410 as he split mid-train. A knuckle broke on this train, sending it into emergency on the Thomas Viaduct.
This is insane!
And yeah, you can see how excited I am that this happened, because this is too cool to witness. But I'm saying that it's not cool for the railroad, but it's pouring down rain, and we're still doing this. So I guess this is pretty cool. I don't know what to say anymore about this. It's just a broken down train, basically.
This thing completely...
On September 2nd of 2023, we head out to chase the Iron Horse Ramblers for the last time, with 2102 in charge. We get one of the prettiest shots on the Y here, and she definitely puts on a fantastic chug show as she starts smoking and chugging while going across this Y. This is an absolutely amazing shot and an absolutely amazing day to be doing this on. And I'm enjoying every bit of it. What an awesome steam locomotive. It really is. She's just going to go ahead and chug off in the distance now. Pretty cool train. Later that day, after filming the 2102 on the Y, we go over to the Lehigh Gorge State Park, or whatever it's called, and we wait there for the Gorge train with the F7s in charge. This was a pretty cool little train to get. I mean, you don't see F7s every day, so I feel like they should make it, and they should have a mention for, you know, this video. But that was really cool to see, and again, I'm gonna say it again, pretty cool train. On a Friday afternoon, I found myself at St. Denis after school, filming CSX 1850, the L&N Heritage Unit. This is also a pretty good looking Heritage Unit. It's basically kind of like the Z-Board System Heritage Unit, was the L&N instead. It's a pretty cool little Heritage Unit. It's a pretty cool little locomotive. So I was really happy to get it when I did. Okay, this next one is actually kind of a big one. And you'll see why in just a second. Okay, we have some CP. This is CSX M410, CP, and KC. This is after the merger. So right here, you actually have two fallen flags. That being Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern. They have merged to create CPKC, which I'm still kind of iffy about that name. But it was really cool to see these two fallen flags together. CP, Kansas City Southern, or KCS, as I just said there. That was really cool. That was really cool indeed. Hey guys, do you guys see any difference in camera quality here? That's right. That is so right. Because I have upgraded to an AX53 4K camcorder from Sony. So I've upgraded from a CX405 to an AX53 4K camcorder. Right here we have the brick, or the research geometry train that Norfolk Southern has. And this was really cool to see. This was that horseshoe curve, and yeah, this was pretty cool to see. I really like the camera quality of the new camera. It looks really, really good. Panning is so much easier now. I really could not ask for a better camera than this. And it looks good. It looks real good. That's awesome. Later on that day, after leaving Horseshoe Curve, we set up at Galitzin Tunnel to film my first Heritage, NS Heritage unit. That being the Nickel Plate Road, ES44AC. This was a pretty cool train to get. And yeah, it was my first NS Heritage unit. Really, really cool train. Yes, indeedy it is.
Wow, Nickel Plate Road.
Man, like that's some sort of surprise, Chris. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, guys, this is actually a really, really big one. These are Norfolk Southern GE C40-8s or -840D or -840Cs. These will never run on the rails again. There are no more of these on Norfolk Southern. So just seeing these is a huge deal. Some of these are ex-Conrail, some of them are not. But these are super cool, and like I said, these are a huge deal to see. If you come across these, consider yourself lucky. Consider yourself lucky if you come across one of these. Because seeing these is a huge deal.
8717.
This is too cool. That is really cool. Look at the electronics in there. That is really, really cool. Really neat.
This is so awesome.
Okay, Chris, you don't have to tell anybody how awesome it is. Everybody knows how awesome this is.
I'm really lost for words. I never thought I would see an actual.
I really didn't think I would see these. But I'm telling you right now, this is cool.
This is so
That's
cool.
awesome right there. That's really, really cool. Later on, after seeing the standard cab -8s, we see the Norfolk Southern, the original Norfolk Southern Heritage Unit on, I think it was Norfolk Southern 22M. This was really cool to see. We didn't expect to see another Heritage Unit that day. No, sir, we didn't expect it. So this was really cool. That is a really cool locomotive. That's a really cool train right there, is what that is. Another week later, me and my Railfane buddies go down to Stanton and Goshen, Virginia, about 3 hours away from Baltimore, to see NW 611 operating on the Buckingham branch / the Virginia Scenic Railway. This was a really cool shot, and this was definitely a treat to be welcomed into fall with. I mean, really, really cool, a really cool train. On October 21st, 2023, we chased Reading T1 number 2102 for the fall foliage excursion trains. And here she is steaming out of Fort Clinton, Pennsylvania. This was pretty cool little shot right here. Definitely cool shot. Okay, this next one is an oldie, but a goodie. The day after chasing 2102 on the fall foliage excursion trains, I head down to St. Denis Marsh Station on the evening of Sunday, October 22nd. And we see this. Two, I guess they're a part of some Genesee Wyoming Railroad with their GP20s. That's pretty cool. That was a pretty cool train right there. That was awesome. A few weeks later, we make it down to the RF&P subdivision down in Featherstone, Virginia, and I catch the auto train for the first time. This is a pretty cool train. Think of it as a passenger train and a freight train, an auto rack freight train mixed in one. I mean, this is a pretty cool train to get, and I recommend getting it if you do come across it. Later on that day, we come across a CSX Herzog ballast train, and I explained how rare these are sometimes. And yeah, this was a pretty cool way to end our day down in Featherstone. Yeah, this was a really nice catch. And yeah, I think, yeah, I would call that a very cool train. A week later, we film a pretty cool little steam train. This being on the Northern Central Railroad, or the Northern Central Railway, I should say. We film Little York 17, a little 440 steam locomotive. She is a replica built. How do I say this? She is built as a replica of a 1800s steam locomotive, which I think that's really, really cool. And she looks absolutely stunning. This is a really, and I mean this is a really, really awesome looking train to get. And yeah, I enjoyed filming it. And yeah, that was pretty cool. Another week after that, we see a Cumberland Yard operation happening in Cumberland Yard. Now, this is just an SD40-2, which is something we've all seen before. But what's about to come up is something very, very different. Introducing the all-new SD23T4. This is a mix of GE and EMD. This is a really unique looking locomotive. I made a video about these locomotives, so I'm not going to get into detail about it, but that's still pretty cool to see. Later that day, we chased the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad up to the Helmstedters Curve, pulling the Polar Express train ride, led by a GE's B32-8, originally owned by Norfolk Southern. So this was pretty cool to see. That's a pretty cool train right there if I've ever seen one. I mean, I've seen probably like maybe over 500 trains now. But the hobby in my mind doesn't get old. A few weeks later, we chase C&J number 113, an 060 steam locomotive built as a switcher by the American Locomotive Company, or ALCO for short. And she's a pretty unique steam locomotive that you don't see too many of her types. And you for sure don't see a frickin' 6-chime Southern Pacific whistle on a switcher like that either. That's a Southern Pacific 6-chime whistle right there, which is pretty cool. That's a really cool train right there because of that. I mean, every train in this video is cool. Don't get me wrong. And yeah, that's a cool train right there. Look, there's a reindeer right there. A few weeks later, we catch a really unique consist on CSX B815. BNSF, WFRX, and Norfolk Southern on this train. That is a really cool consist. And that right there makes it a very cool train. Yeah, see. The next day, we go out to Cumberland to film CNO/Western Maryland 1309. It is a 2662 steam locomotive, and that was really cool to film. And yeah, that's just another steam locomotive doing what steam locomotives do. And yeah, that was really cool to see. I've been wanting to film 1309 in really good condition, good lighting conditions for a long time now. And that's what we did here. So yeah, that's really cool. During winter break, I filmed a Norfolk Southern train that has one of the greatest P5 air horns I've ever heard in my life. That P5 air horn sounded so good, I'm even putting it on this list, or whatever you call this. But yeah, that was really cool. Later on, CSX M332 comes by Shenandoah Junction, West Virginia, with something pretty cool. The Bayview Switcher. The YN2 SD40-2 coming back from service, going back to Bayview for more switching operations. It's still really cool to see that unit out and about on the rails. The next day, we head up to Cove, Pennsylvania, and look what we found and saw. The Interstate Heritage Unit. This is number 4 on my Heritage Unit list. I only need, like, I don't even know how many folks out there. But it's still pretty cool to see. And yeah, that's that. Not long after, we saw the original Norfolk Southern Heritage Unit again. This time trailing. So that, I guess that was pretty cool to see. Of course it was cool to see. It was a Heritage Unit. Not long after, we see an SD78 leading on Norfolk Southern with 2 BNSF Gevos trailing. That was pretty cool. So I guess that makes that a really cool train. Okay, that's awesome. Canadian Pacific with a Jingle Bells horn show. That's pretty cool right there. Yes, it is. That's really cool. I don't care what anybody says about that. That's a great way to spread Christmas cheer. By the way, Merry Christmas, everybody! And finally, last, but certainly not least, NS4000. The first AC-44 C6M rebuild on Norfolk Southern. I was really happy to get this, and I've been wanting to get myself a hold of this locomotive for a while now, and I finally have. So yeah, that's pretty cool right there. And well, folks, that brings us up to date. That was a lot to go through, but we got it done. And one more thing. Merry Christmas, everybody, and a Happy New Year! We'll see you in 2024!